scene here. I see a lot of Eskimos milling around. Apparently we're expecting a visit from the bishop. Flags are up at the hospital. A couple of gray nuns are up there. They're nursing sisters. And it looks like a big celebration. Father Blair is hoisting the Union Jack on top of the flagpole. And this must be later on, I guess, after the celebration. I see the Peterhead with Brother Bhutan, Father Blair, and an Eskimo. And here, golly, we jumped over Chesterfield Inlet pretty quick. I see the Regina's Polaris there in the picture. That's the boat we left Chesterfield on in late August 19, I guess 47. Now here is the, I believe it's the mission plane. They had a Norseman aircraft. While we were in Chesterfield and the Scopie was lost, that's the big supply ship. And emergency had to fly in supplies. But I see this must be the bishop arrived on the aircraft. This must be back to the celebration of the bishop's arrival. And see the outboard canoe there, outboard motor. And there's the special constable to the RCMP with the hat on. Father Blair there, Eskimo kids, and I guess it's a day of festivities in Chesterfield Inlet by the look of things. We enjoyed the time we spent up there, got to understand and speak some Eskimo, and really made some friends amongst the natives and of course other white people and other white people in the settlement. There's a picture of the hospital there in the background, the flag flying on the mast. There's an old Eskimo there smoking his pipe there, or cigarette. And the Regina Polaris, we're outward bound now to Churchill from Chesterfield Inlet. We left there in late August 1947. We had a very rough trip. In fact, we had a heave-to in the Hudson Bay. It took 54 hours on that trip. This is the tugboat. This is going up the Churchill River almost into the town of Churchill. That's the old Fort Prince of Wales we saw there in the background. As we go up the river there's the grain elevators, and we'll soon be docking there at that wharf, the grain elevators. Some of the priests there, and I see Margie and myself, and Bishop LaCroix, and Father Basin, and Sharon, and Mary, and everybody's making a big fuss over two little girls. Here, Bishop Mark LaCroix, who turned out to be a very good friend of ours during our stay at Chesterfield Inlet. This is Brother Ken and his wife Evelyn, and Margie, and Sharon, and Mary, as we walk along Dorchester Street, or one of the streets there in Montreal. We made a short visit there on our way home to the east, and there we're all walking along there. Evelyn, Ken's wife, myself, and Mary, and Sharon, and Margie. That was in early September. Here we are at Yarmouth. We were moved to Yarmouth after coming back, and this is Margie and the two girls out front there, Mary and Sharon, at our farmhouse there that we rented in Yarmouth. Oh boy, it looks cold down there with all that snow for sure. We stayed in Yarmouth. We weren't there a little less than a year actually. Joni was born while we were in Yarmouth. She was born at the Yarmouth Hospital. Not too happy over that. She's not too happy over that. Yeah, there's Mary too. It's pretty cold out there, I guess, by the looks of things, with the wind and the frost. Mary has nice red cheeks. Somebody's walking in the background according to the shadow. I don't know who that is. Probably Margie, or probably myself, Margie, taking the picture. But anyway, we enjoyed our short stay in Yarmouth. It was quite nice, but we had a rough winter. And the house we had wasn't the best in the world. It was rather drafty and uncomfortable sometimes. There we are again at Yarmouth. We went to the black and white film, and we got a dog while we were there. It was a border collie, called him Laddie. He was quite nervous and high-strung. And anyway, the kids seem to be enjoying him there now. And Oh, he turned out not a bad dog. We had him for a few years, but we didn't really keep him too long as he got distemper, and we had to get rid of him. And then we also got a cat. Margie paid $3 for that cat, I think, as a little kid. And we later on took it to Newfoundland, and it met with an untimely end. Yeah, that's the cat, all right. And oh, here we are with the dog again. And that's the old Nash car I bought, an old second-hand car. Couldn't get a new one, and that was pretty much a wreck. However, it did us for a few months until we finally were able to get a new one. It arrived. We were getting some new cars on the market after the war, and it was very difficult to get one, really. But in any case, we finally got a nice 1948 Plymouth, and we enjoyed it very much for a few years. Yeah, I guess, no, they're running around the yard. This is one of the longest scenes we have, I think, in all our films. This is a shower that the ladies around the area had for Margie before Joni was born. This was a baby shower. They're hard at it. They're playing cards. 45s, I guess. I don't know. I think it was 45s they were playing, and instead of auction 45. But it looks like they're having fun. I don't know who won the prize, but anyway, looks like they're having a pretty good time. I stayed clear. I didn't want to get mixed up with all those women. I don't know. I must hid away somewhere in some other part of the house. However, I must have been around to take the picture. I must have been around to take the picture. Yeah, there's Mary Poole, and oh God, yeah, I forget the names of these people now. This was so long ago. Yeah, I can't, I see Margie there. That's Tim Eden's wife. Tim used to be a radio operator at VAU Yarmouth in those days. There's Mary Poole there facing us. And I've forgotten the name of these other people so long ago. A new wagon for that Christmas, and looks like they're enjoying it. They still have their Eskimo Parkers. I see they're making good use of them. The Eskimos made those, if I remember correctly, while we were in Chesterfield Inlet. There's Father again with the dog. I don't know what he's trying to teach the dog, but anyway, those days apparently I used to smoke a bit. Never did smoke very much. But anyway, my golly, there's quite a hat I got on there, and there's the old car looking pretty good. Some class. Some class in those days. Yeah. Well, now, let me see. We need some new scenes. Margie, the dog died onto the door. The kids are still playing outside in the snow. Now, there's a little Kroll girl from down the road. She was Art Kroll's daughter. Yeah, that's down to their place, right near the radio station, VAU. Apparently we're down there playing one afternoon, and there's Art himself. I don't know whether Art is still living or not. Haven't heard anything for a good many years. I guess they're going to run a race here. Yeah, it's kind of fun, all these films. There's Brian Marr. This used to be a chap that lived next door to me in a hometown of Kansas. This is his little boy. When we were in Yarmouth, this was taken. Brian was living at Yarmouth at the time. There he is, Brian and his son. Brian died some years later. He was Deputy Minister of Fisheries for Nova Scotia, and he died under a heart attack when he was over in Norway, as a matter of fact, on business. So, kids look like they're having a pretty good time there. Little fella throwing a can around, a tin can. Little baby, Joni, shortly after she was born. Well, Margie sure looks good there. And the baby's pretty cute. That's baby Joni, just probably a few weeks old. Yeah, so it's a good record. I wish I had this record of all the children. However, we didn't keep it up. And I regret now that we didn't. It would be nice to look at. But anyway, that's a pretty cute picture of Joni when she was just a wee one. Yeah, it's the years go by so quick. This is when we came out of the north. And for her birthday or anniversary, I forget which, I had foxes made over into a jacket, and it turned out very nicely. Turned out very nice indeed. And she enjoyed it. Very nice jacket. Furs were cheap in those days up in the North Country. You could buy a blue fox for about $20, $25. Blue fox fur. And there was Margie and the dog, so there's myself again. Yeah, I look pretty happy there. Oh, I get a kick out of this picture. Our next door neighbor had oxen, as you can see. And he came in one day, and Sharon is quite happy on there with her little doll. He put Sharon up there on the back of the oxen, and Mary up there on the back of the oxen. And Mary in the wagon, she's not happy at all. She's she's quite upset, as a matter of fact. She's quite upset there. She's crying. I like this picture. It's really nice. Yeah, this is a real nice picture. Sharon there's enjoying every minute of it. Didn't seem to be too worried at all. Oh, we must have taken to the Bill Lynch show, I guess. This must have been, I guess, in Dartmouth as well. I forget. It must have been in pardon me, not Dartmouth, but Yarmouth. Yeah, we're still at Yarmouth there, so the show must have been there in Yarmouth. Pretty nice summer day. That's a little fellow from next door, two little fellows from next door with their pony. Not a very pretty yard with all the junk around. Yeah, that was a pretty junky place around there. The cat playing with the dog's tail. Yeah. Oh, these pictures go back a long time ago, as you kids, especially Joni, would realize, and Mary and Cher and Cher. Kind of a wild-looking fellow. Yeah. Oh, these pictures go back a long time ago, as you kids, especially Joni, would realize, and Mary and Cher and Sharon. This is before Margie or or the others, that's for sure. Yeah, there was an old barn attached to the house. This was kind of a wild-looking fellow. Yeah, he's kind of a wild-looking fellow. He met an untimely end after we arrived in St. John's, Newfoundland, a number of years later. Mary scratched her hand on the carriage. So anyway, we'll soon be finished this series of films here and go to another series. Oh, here's Marg and the children, and Mrs. Kroll as Art's wife. They're picking lupins. This is just going along the lupin trail there, just outside of Yarmouth. So that's the... Get the right adjustments. Oh yes, this is the Magnificent, the Canadian aircraft carrier some years ago, the Magnificent in Halifax Harbour. Apparently these pictures started when we were living in the Halifax-Dartmouth area. This is my brother's family. He was living at Eastern Passage at the time. He was in the Air Force down there. And this is my brother Jack, Margie. And this is Jack's wife Irene and one of their babies, and Margie with baby Joni. Yeah, this is, oh, here we are. This is taken at Canso. My sister Pearl's 3 children there, the 2 in the middle and the little fellow on the end. That's Sheila, Rosalie, and I think Michael. And then Mary and Sharon. This is taken just out the end of the lane by the harbor. This picture, I think, was taken somewhere in Truro. My sister Pearl was living there at that time, and we stopped up to visit on the way back to Halifax. This picture was taken in Canso. There's my sister Pearl there in the black dress, and my sister Claire with the bluish coat, and her daughter Norma there with the long braids. There's my dad sitting on the well at home in Kansas with all the various little grandchildren around him, Mary and Sharon, and some of Pearl's daughter. There's the car, the 1948 Plymouth that we bought at Yarmouth. White wall tires and all, shining like a Christmas tree there. Oh boy, I was proud of that. This is go swimming. This is our children and Claire's, I guess, and Pearl's. And here we are down Glasgow Head. This is my brother-in-law Warren on the end there, and Claire and the dog, and Margie and the children, and a couple of girls there from around Kansas. This must be baby Joni while we were at Kansas. Yeah, she's not very old there, but she's pretty bright looking there. She's so cute. There's John Hager. That's my sister Claire's boy. He's controller of the treasury there at Santa Vex University now. And, of course, the dog Laddie. There's Joni again in our crib down at Glasgow Head. A little smile. There's the dog and the cat again. That must be at Hartland Point, I think. I think that must be at Hartland Point. Yeah, oh, the cat is giving them a good wash around the ears. Yeah, this is down in Glasgow Head, just up from my sister Claire's house. This is again at Kansas with Bernie, my sister Pearl's husband, and some of their children, my dad, and my mom there, that's standing beside Dad, and my sisters, and oh boy, grandchildren all over the place. Grandchildren all over the place, yeah. Bernie's family, and our family, and Claire's family, and yeah, lots of kids and lots of people. My mom and dad there, Dad with the white shirt, and Mom holding his arm. There they are. Cars backing up the hill, the motor shut off. This is over in, yeah, this is at Magnetic Hill, too. I think this picture was taken among the flowers. That was back in 1948, yeah, back in 1948, or 49. I think it was 48. No, it must be later. I see Joni's walking now. There we are, backing up the hill with the motor shut off. That was a long time ago. Isn't that a beautiful car? Yeah, beautiful car. Here we are down Moore's Mills. We went down there to visit some friend, the McKeegans, Bob and his wife. They were great friends of ours when we were down Low Point. Marie is from Sydney, and Bob is originally from Fredericton. And this is over at Moore's Mills where Bob was working in the blueberry picking business. This looks like when we were returning from the States to Canada. That was during that same trip. This, I think, is at around the customs there in around St. Stephen. Yeah, United States Customs and Immigration. Here we are, this time walking across the bridge, I guess, from the States to Canada. Yeah, this is all a lot of fun in those days. Those little trips and the children, and it was very exciting. This is over at St. John, New Brunswick, visiting some friends there, Charlie and Grace Reed. Charlie was a radio operator with the government for many years. He was on one of the Coast Guard ships. Charlie's dead now for a good many years, but Grace is still living in Moncton here. This is out at Hartland Point, where we were living for a number of years when I was at the monitoring station. And it looks like they're making some hay. We had a beautiful spot out there. And as you can see, some pretty good sights once in a while. Not quite a show there. There's Spracklin. He was my boss there in Hartland Point for a number of years. And a little dog there that one of the boys left behind. This is some flowers they had planted out there. And it's a good old summertime for sure. Yeah, there's a milk truck coming in. This is into Hartland Point. Yeah, Joni, walking amongst the flowers. She must be a couple years old now. Must be about 1950, I would think. That little girl there, I think, is Peggy Bridgers. Peggy Bridgers would be Margie's first cousin. And this looks like one of our visits to Ketch Harbor. Yeah, this looks like on one of our visits to Ketch Harbor. The Bridgers were living out there. And I don't know who all these people are. They're the Bridgers and the O'Haras, I guess. This is in the public gardens at Halifax. A lot of strange people here. There's the parrot. He must have been quite an attraction in those days. And I believe this was a peacock in there behind the enclosure, and the swans and the lake there. This must have been quite a nice outing, I guess, for us all. Oh, this is one of our friends. Apparently, this is after our stay on Sable Island here. This is one of our friends that came ashore with a broken leg from Sable Island, and there's yeah, we went to meet her at the aircraft. She stayed with us for a while when we're living at Hartland Point. This is looks like a picnic out at Silver Sands. This is outside of Eastern Passage, out on the shore, and a lot of our friends, acquaintances out there, mostly radio people. I see Margie there, and Joni. There's Joni again in the flowers. I don't know where this was exactly, all these roses. Can't seem to recall. Yeah, this is one of the houses at Hartland Point. This is where the Spracklins lived. And the garage, a double garage, and our house was just over here in the foreground. Joni trying out a pail of water. Yeah, she looks like she's enjoying herself. My golly, she's getting to be a big girl. This is another gathering down at Silver Sands, down on the seashore. There's Evelyn Spracklin with the dark dress on. And I don't know who all these children are. Looks like they're having a lot of fun anyway. The water was cold down there, if I remember correctly. Now this is again down back to my home in Canso. They had the swing there by the house, doing the Highland playing. She's married, of course, and many years now, and living in the Halifax area. Yeah, I think about 1949. He loved that dog. He loved him so much. There's Dory. I'm rolling along there. This is Canso Harbor, the church up in the background. That's where he went to church as a kid growing up. And there's Dad's boat. He's taking us for a cruise, I guess, around the harbor. I see his dog is on board, as well as Marg and the children and the girls. Oh, boy, it's a beautiful looking day. It's so calm. Probably a Sunday, and there's different people out there. There's over in Grassy Island. Let's cross the harbor from Halifax. Looks like we're having a great time there digging clams. Dad is doing the shoveling, and I'm doing the picking by the looks of things. This again is down by the old homestead in Canso. There's Warren, my brother-in-law, the big fella, Claire's husband, my sister Claire's husband. Claire's over there to the left. Mother in there, and Margie, and all the kids, a lot of the kids, I should say. And there's Norma, too. That's Claire's oldest daughter, that to the right of her father. And there's the whole group, too. There's Dad, my mother, Dad's brother. This is shortly before we left for Sable Island. This was in the spring of 1951, early spring. There's Father Francis, who later on was transferred to Truro. and served in Toronto for a good many years. In fact, I think he died down there some years ago. And I guess there were some other little girls made the first Holy Communion as well as Sharon. Anyway, she was all excited that day. I remember it quite well. And here comes a couple of the sisters. All the children are gathered around. There's Ruby Walsh. They were friends of ours, Ruby and Bill. Bill died a couple of years ago. And there's Evelyn Spracklin and Sprack. He was my boss for a number of years at Heartland Point. Sprack is dead. He died 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. Evelyn, we saw her on her birthday. She's 95, and she's bright as can be and fits a fiddle, living with her son Edward over in Halifax. There's Otis Mosier and his wife and child. This is down at Heartland Point as well, Margie, and oh gosh, I don't know who all those other kids are, the big kids. I don't know, but anyway, here we are off for Sable Island. There's Bob Ferguson, his wife, and a couple of their children. Bob came out to drive us to the marine dock to pick up one of the Coast Guard ships, the Edward Cornwallis, who's taken myself and family to Sable Island, where I'll probably live for a couple of years. They're looking after the radio station. There's Margie, and it looks like, oh gee whiz, that's little Margie. She was born on New Year's Day, 1951. Just a wee baby when we left for Sable Island in April 1951. Here we are in 1951, the year 1951. Train going along there, kicking up lots of smoke. Yeah, there we are, pulling out from the wharf side. There's George's Island there, or McNabb's Island, I'm not sure which. There's the Halifax, the docks as we pass out the harbour. And it'll be another, over 2 years before I'll see it again. This is apparently this was an overnight trip to Sable, and apparently we're anchored there now off of Sable. There's Sable in the background, just a big sand heap, and we'll be going ashore in what they call a surf boat. That's a large, heavy boat towed by a motor boat. And the beach is pretty rough sometimes. There's 3 breakers in there, and if there's any sea at all, they're very hard to get through safely. Oftentimes the boats are swamped and sink and filled full of sand, and they have to put a big line out to the ship and winch them back aboard. It can be very dangerous. So I guess we'll be putting ashore there very shortly. I see we've got a good welcome committee there on the beach. The horses are all lined up, ready to haul the supplies, and a lot of people there. Sand heap is going to be our home for the next, I think 28 months. 28 months, long time. But looks like this film is finished, so we're going to pause here for a moment. There's the superintendent's house, taken from the top of the lighthouse tower. That's the Quonset hut where the staff people lived. And a lot of empty barrels. Some more Quonset hut. Probably one of those is the radio station. Let me see now which one. Must be, yeah, there's our house over there, the green roof. That's where we lived, and a little shed out back. We had 50 hens, laying hens, when we were out there. And there's also a couple of power plants in that little shed, small power plants for supply of electricity for the dwelling. Yeah, that looks like the, these Quonset huts are used for various things. This one is a lot of diesel engines, and the other store, and he was one of the famous, well-known old riggers in Department of Transport, put up all the masts and the antennas and things like that. There's Sharon and Linda Solomon, and there's our house there with the children there. See a washout, and looks like everybody's happy. We enjoyed Sable Island, a lot of fun out there. I taught the Mary and Sharon and one of the superintendent's daughters there with a correspondence course in the grade 1 and 2. There's Margie. She's just a little girl there. She was beautiful. There's Joni with one of the hands. Is Joni on horseback. We did quite a bit of riding out there. We had an old horse. We called him Tom. He was rather lazy. We usually took him in the buggy, a little two-wheel buggy, but we used some of the horses out of the stable for horseback riding. They had about 14 horses in the stable. There's Tom and the family on a cruise, on a tour of the island. There's Margie with a couple of cats. I don't know who owned those cats. I think it was down the Met Station, which was about a mile further east on the island. There's John Cameron. John died under rather tragic circumstances, had a rather tragic life. John was in charge of the weather observing station down there. That was the house they lived in. And his wife was killed. John's wife was killed in a car accident. There's a seagull. Got him in there. John's got a seagull in there. Yeah. There's Betty, John's wife, standing there with Margie. There's John. That's one of the workmen that was working around there. Oh boy, those seagulls can be vicious. That's East Light. That's a long ways. No, pardon me, that's not East Light. That's the old main station. That was about 3/4 of a mile further west than the beaches. Nice warm water, lots of seals. Beautiful place for swimming. There's Margie down there with some of the children. Here comes, I see the ship's anchored off there. I guess they must be having lifeboat practice here in this run. This is down at the Met Station. Guess must be boat day by the looks of things, when people and supplies are coming ashore. Oh, this was, that looks like the Edward Cornwallis out there. Yes, Orlando. Oh, this is East Light. This is about 20 miles. Lighthouse. That is all automatic today. There's nobody living there. That's the remains of a ship that was wrecked on Sable. This is, I think, down by what they call number 3 station. Some of the wild horses over grazing over there on the sand hills. Here's what happens to the buildings over the years. You had sandstorms out there, and the buildings are buried in some cases. There's the remains of an old wreck too, just off a number 3 station. Those were the places where they would go in for a cup of tea during their patrols many years ago. There's some of the boys on horseback here. There's another wreck, just 2 spars. I think that was what they call the Manhasset. You'll see her on the list of wrecks at Sable if you have a map. This is some of the main station boys. There's one of the horses out of the stable. Very fine-looking horse there. I think his name was Beauty, if I remember correctly. He was one of the bigger horses from Sable. Here's the remains of some old building. That's just below our place there, as you see, with the green roof. Just a general picture of the island. We used to get a lot of berries down there, blueberries, strawberries, and all kinds of cranberries. All kinds of cranberries. Must be going to make a garden. Oh, I think this is a visit we had. An American Navy ship came in there, or maybe it was Coast Guard. And some of the officers came ashore. I know they brought ashore about 18 gallons of ice cream. Kids had a real picnic. They came ashore by helicopter off of the ship, and they spent half of the day just cruising around the island. But it was certainly a great event. Nothing much happened out there, in the way of visitors or ice cream, things like that. So this was a great day for the kids in particular, with all that ice cream. There's the American. They carried a Canadian helicopter on board this ship, and that was used for transporting the personnel from ship to shore. And later on, they went, I believe, by the horse team down to East Light, or down in that direction. In any case, here's some of the officers off the ship, and You see everybody's milling around. As I say, it's quite an event. Yeah, it looks like they're going on a on a hayride here, by the looks of things. I don't know how far they went. I guess not too far, because there's one of the men off the ship going on horseback. I guess it was just a little lark for them too. Yeah, there they all go on a cruise. Oh, we enjoyed our days out there. They went by very quickly. We had lots of hobbies of horseback riding, beach combing, amateur radio, reading. Just out picking berries was a great pastime too, most enjoyable pastime. We used to get some beautiful days out there. Of course, too, we got some very rough weather in the spring and in the winter, with high winds and drifting sand. Not much snow. The climate was quite a bit warmer than mainland Nova Scotia, probably about 10 degrees on the average. Cooler in summer and warmer in winter. There's Bill Linehan, one of the boys on staff at the radio station. A fellow named Gitney, who was from the Marine Department. He more or less was a supervisor for marine construction. It looks like they're revamping one of the old Quonset huts here and putting some new aluminum cover over it. There's Margie with the old pussycat. Margie, her mother's got a pretty blue bow in her hair. Well, there's the whole family. Those were happy days. Those were very happy, beautiful days. We often wish we could bring them all back, but who doesn't, I guess, through life. Yeah, Margie had hurt her arm. I forget, if Margie was here, she'd say, I think she burnt it on something. I don't think that's Tom. He looks too well proportioned for Tom. Now, here's some stable horses. Yeah, looks like I'm giving them a little treat there. Oh boy, look at the seesaw. Mary and Joni. There's the Edward Cornwallis. I guess we're on our way off the island. I think this is the time it came to depart. No, they're still landing supplies, so we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. Oh, here's a little visitor came on the island. This was quite an event for the girls, too, because there was no little lads out there. Yeah. On Sable Island. That's the picture there of an old aircraft. The remains of an aircraft that was crashed there during the war years. And we're looking over the South Beach. Looking here over the South Beach. Oh, this is Tom and the family. Sable Island, West Light, 1 mile. I think it said East Light 15 miles. There's there's one of the operators there, Ron Ketty. He died a few years after at the Halifax, at Shearwater. He was on watch there, and they found him dead one morning. It was, oh golly, I guess she was less than a year there. That must be in the, she was born January the 1st, 1951, so that must be later on. That must be in the, she was born January the 1st, 1951, so that must be later on towards the fall of 51. Here's the team from the main station. And one of the supervisors there of the life-saving crew coming on horseback behind, that's the boys from the life-saving crew. There's Charlie Faulkner there waving his hat, driving the horses. He's the superintendent of the island. There's Claude Faulkner on the horseback there, and then our buggy's coming up in the rear. I don't know who's on that, but oh yes, one of the, there's the it must be headed for East Light. This is going down along the beach, South Beach, by the looks of things. There's the radio dwelling, and a little pond below the house, a couple of wild horses. That's looking over the island. I don't know what direction at the moment. As Cornwallis laying off the beach and see a surfboat on his way out. I guess there must be land supplies. The beach looks quite rough there. Oh, I think this is, oh golly, here we are in the winter time. Must be December boat, I guess, but looks at the snow on the sand there. Goes a load of supplies. Horses can't haul too big a loads over the sand there. It's very hard going. Yes, the breakers are a bit high there. It's quite, there's always a danger of swamping the boat in those breakers if she happens to go sideways to the breakers. Very, very risky. There's been people hurt, but I don't think there's been ever any lives lost in this respect. Must be radio operators on Sable at the time we were there. Owen girls in hour 3 and, well, hour 3, yeah. Now, Pat Felvey looks like he's leaving the island, as well as Eric Peters. He's from the Met station. Looks like they're both being transferred ashore again. There's Superintendent of the island's wife and her mother. They're, I think thought we were getting, I guess tern or one of the wild birds. Yeah, maybe baby tern. There are a lot of terns nested on the island. And the kids would get the eggs and make cakes, mix them up with the sand, make cakes, and spend hours playing with them. Here's the local taxi again. The Lone Ranger up there in the distance. There's Bill Linehan driving the horses. He's one of the boys at the station, one of the radio operators. And Betty Cameron, John Cameron, the charge of the Met station, his wife. Here's some more of the staff boys. They had about 18 people on the life-saving staff, but most of their work was hauling supplies and maintenance of buildings and this sort of thing, because the days of wrecks at this time were mostly over. Yeah, just east of us on the island. They would come up sometimes and bring us magazines and a few supplies. This is an RCAF Canso. Looks like they brought a few boxes out to us by the looks of things here. They didn't come too often, though. Oh, here we are. Baby chicks. I think what happened here, we had some wild duck eggs, and the hen hatched them. And those are not chicks, really. They're wild ducks. See, they have webbed feet. I forget if any of them survived, actually. But anyway, the hen sat on the eggs and raised raised the ducks. I don't know how long they survived. Can't remember. Maybe Margie would. This is the Rose Garden on Sable. This is up the old main station. Beautiful rose garden. The story is that one of the superintendents years ago had a daughter who was paraplegic, and he planted her this rose garden, and she used to go there in her wheelchair and sit for hours. There's the superintendent of the island, Pat Sullivan. There's Linda Sullivan and me and Margie and wild horses. Pat Sullivan and Margie, I guess it is, yeah. And there's Mother and that's Margie, yeah. That's little Margie. There's the bathing beauties. Yeah, it was a great place for swimming. This must be the summer of 1952 on Sable. I presume this is the summer of 1952. The water was very warm there. Of course, lots of sand. This is down in the lagoon. The boys are built a raft and have a diving board there. So they have a great time down there. This is some of the staff men, and I guess it looks like everybody's having a picnic by the appearance there. Yeah, there's tea and goodies, and there's Margie herself. She's the driver today. I guess it's her turn. The horse would go for her. As you can see there, by the beach and the water. Looks like we're having a pretty good time down there. Oh, it was a nice spot. We had lots of good days out there. Some rough ones as well. But on the most part, I think we enjoyed it very much. I had set the camera on automatic, and this is the reason for the antics there, running and running back. I had put the camera on a tripod and was taking some pictures of everybody. There's Joni and Margie. Looks like Joni has her sock full of sand. There's Mom and Mary and Sharon and Dad, and didn't work out the best. Oh, here we are down at the Met Station. Must be outing day. I see Charlie Faulkner, the superintendent of the island, in the background, and looks like we're all going on a picnic down to, this looks like number 3. This was one of the stations that the life-saving crew used to stop in at years ago when there were many wrecks on the island and they were making their patrols. Here's the remnants of another old station along the island somewhere or other. Yeah, it looks like we're having a picnic today. Everybody is taking it easy. Must be a holiday by the looks of things. There's the remains of an old wreck. I don't recall the names of these wrecks now, but you probably see them on the map of Sable for sure. Here's the 4-horse team. There's another. This is, I think, a ship that was by the name of the Manhasset. It was fairly intact. It was one of the later wrecks. It only happened a few years prior to us going to the island in 1951. Here again, I must have had the camera on the tripod, and I was doing a lot of running around there. John Cameron there, he's in charge of the Met Station. The waves almost got him. Here comes Margie in the background, and somebody with Margie on their shoulders. Looks like one of the staff men. Looks like that we were picking strawberries. Very forlorn spot. As a rule, there was only one person stayed down there and operated looked after the light. A lonely vigil. Yeah, here's East Light again. Boys, oh boys, lots of sand there. Those bars on each end of the island go out for about 18 miles. East Light, there's the sign right over the door. Apparently that was an excursion to East Light. It's about 18 miles from main station. Now it looks like everybody's having fun. There's 2 wild horses in the corral. The boys are amusing themselves riding the wild horses. And Margie and myself, a couple of stable horses. Looks like the boys are having a race there. Oh. Something wrong here. My loop ran out. I'm sure a lot of people. Oh, yes. It looks like this is the relief. The relief coming ashore for the Met Station staff. The fellow in charge there and his wife. And I think, too, my relief is there. Oh, it must be almost time to leave the island after 28 months. 28 months. Yeah, there's my relief, Stu Maxner. And his wife holding, I guess it's Margie. Or is it their own? No, their own children, I guess. And there's Ralph Newell and his wife who relieved John Cameron at the Met Station. And John is holding their little one. Or is it Margie? Oh, golly, it's hard to tell. Anyway, this is going to be kind of a busy time now for the next while, getting ready to leave. I think the boat has stayed for a week at that time. They were building a new house down at the weather station, and they had landed a lot of supplies. Oh well, we're still enjoying the swimming and frolicking on the beach, so that's very, very nice there this time in the summertime. Very nice. I see the Cornwallis is anchored off there, and the boats are busy, no doubt landing supplies. Oh, this is another real beach party here for sure. They have a balloon there filled with helium all ready to send up a radio sound instrument, which you'll see the release there shortly, and the instrument trailing behind on a cord. That balloon will rise to many thousands of feet, and eventually when the pressure gets light enough, it will break. Sometimes, of course, they are found they don't break and they survive, and found many things headed for the mainland after 28 months in the graveyard of the Atlantic. It was a nice time. Here we are, I guess, on the ship. You see Sable Island in the background, I guess. On the ship, you see Sable Island in the background, I guess, gradually fading away. We're on our way into Dartmouth. There's John Cameron in the background, the blue shirt on from the weather station. There's Margie and the children, Mary and Sharon and Joni and Margie. And everybody's happy. I guess we're going ashore. Here we are, landed in Dartmouth. They see our friends of Ferguson. Bob Ferguson is there to meet us, also Evelyn and Sprague, and the children. And there's a truck there, probably loading some of our personal belongings. Yeah, there's the marine dock with all the boys on there. Halifax across the way. We must be getting ready to disembark here. Oh dear, here Baker, Herbie and Vida, and also Florence and Eric. And we visit them at their cottage while there, and lots of children around. There's Herbie and Herbie's daughter and Vida sitting down there, and we bought a new car while we were in Liverpool. There we have it now. Our new Chevrolet, 1954 model, I believe. 1954, yeah. That's the 953. 953. That's the year we came off the isle. In July 1953. There's Herbie there, going to enjoy a lunch, and Vida across the way. Here we are on our way to Canso, and we stopped at the Holy Springs Shrine. There's Dad and Mom in the background. I guess we must have been to Canso, and we came up to visit the shrine from there. There's Margie and the children, and I think there's a couple of Pearl's children there too, by the looks of things. Mom and Dad and Margie kneeling down at the shrine. Oh yes, there's Bernie, my brother-in-law, and Bernie's mother, and Bernie's father, Pearl, Sister Pearl. This is quite a gathering. This is quite a gathering. There's Dad, and his hat's flopping up and down, and Bernie Kading's father, and his mother there in the purple dress, and my mother with the hat on, Bernie, my brother-in-law, and there are some of their children. Here we are at, we went over to Prince Edward Island for a visit. And this is at V1FX place at East Point, Prince Edward Island. Stu McIntyre and his wife. There's Stu. Haven't talked to Stu for a long time. That's V1FX. That was back in 1953. Holy Terrible, terrible, terrible. So many years ago. That's 35 years, no, 34 years ago. East Point Light, radio beacon. It's the lighthouse and dwelling house. And this must be crossing on the ferry, I guess. So here we are driving along some of the roads in Prince Edward Island. They had a unique practice over there of having signs up, so many killed here, and go along in other ways, and so many killed here. They'd have these big signs, I guess, to remind people just to be careful. But this is I believe this is September, early October, 1953, after coming off of Sable Island. See, the trees are changing color, so I suspect it's October. Driving along here, we must be bound for East Point. V1 PB, Peter Baker, myself, in those days. I believe at Harrison Point, yes. We're at Harrison Point now, and we're just backing away from the driveway, probably headed for the city, Margie and me. Yes, this is going in through Eastern Passage, Southeast Passage, along the shore. And there's the Halifax Dartmouth Bridge. This is the McDonald Bridge. And I think we were headed for a ham fest at Hubbard's. Not too far from Chester. Just driving along here. Beautiful summer's day. This is back in 1954. The summer of 1954. Have quite a gathering here at Hubbard's of all the amateurs throughout Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. And that's a dog. He does jump very well, black dog. That's one of the Ham's dogs. I kind of forget who these people are. I might recognize some of them a long time ago. There's Leo Doucette, and there's V1FR from Sydney. He's dead quite a few years ago. And who is that fellow there, Margie? There's Bernie Bonner. He lives in Yarmouth now. And Max Ross is there. He lives in Truro. And see Cy Smith. He's long gone. And some more there. Take a while. There's Wally Nirma from Windsor. They're still living in. Oh boy, they're having a great time. They're having a great time. Yeah, there's some more women racing. Sharon's in that race. She's the smallest one at the last. She's a little small for that. There's Max Ross back onto us, Truro. We still talk to Max on ham radio. I had to jump over him. Yeah, there's quite a gathering there. There we are back at Hartland Point, just in front of the garage. Mary and Sharon going to clean the car. This is looking out over the Halifax Harbour, looking up towards the Army base, the forts. There's a golf course up there now. And there's myself and the family, getting them all lined up. There's little Margie on the end. She's so cute. Mary and Sharon and Joni and Margie. They're all sweet. Oh, this is down in Truro. We must have been down there to visit Pearl. She was living there now, so we have two families in the picture. Pearl's children, that's my sister Pearl, and our own 4 girls. Quite a group. Yes, the light is not too good in this picture. Yeah, here we are. Where's this at, Mark? I think possibly it's a picnic out at Silver Sands. This is a beach out beyond Just driving along the highway here. I think, yes, bound for Kent. So that looks like the Salmon River Bridge, just up at Boylston. Yeah, we must be on our way to Kent. So we made many trips over this road, visiting my parents. And here's another visit to the Holy Spring Shrine, the monastery. We got our car blessed in there, and they assured us it was good for 100 miles an hour after that. We never tried it. We never tried it. Here's my father and mother in there, and the children. Oh, looks like we're headed out over the highway here. Nothing very spectacular. This must be on the ferry going to Newfoundland. This looks like we're on the ferry going to Newfoundland. Oh yes, this is when we were transferred to Newfoundland, 1954. We went down on the Furnace with the boat, the Nova Scotian. This is coming in the harbor. There's the battery, Signal Hill, and we were transferred to Torbay, the airport there at St. John's, and we spent almost 10 years there. This coming into the dock in St. John's. There's the Basilica in the background. Here's a guy tied up at the pier, and lots of people there waiting to meet and greet the relatives and friends coming off the boat. We had a nice trip over from Halifax on the Nova Scotia. We also took our car. We're waiting here to get our car. I presume it's coming off in this lift. We had an unfortunate event happen here. We had the cat that we had in Yarmouth, and the SPCA got him here. It was a holiday. It was Remembrance Day. It's the 11th of November, and before we got to his rescue, they had put him asleep. Here we are at Torbay. Children were very broken-hearted over the cat, but the shipping company later replaced it with a beautiful blue Persian, which we all grew to love very much, especially Margie, little Margie. Here's baby Marion. Here's baby Marion. She's only 3 months old. She was born in Halifax, and she was only 3 months old when we landed there at Torbay. Here she is here with her dolly, her teddy bear, I guess it is. Yeah, that's baby Marion and all her little finery. She's so cute. This must be our first Christmas at Torbay. We lived right near the airport. There's Joni. She apparently got a dolly for Christmas. And this, oh, the girls were confirmed. Joni, Sharon, and Mary. Their confirmation at St. John's, Newfoundland. They look very happy. I'm just trying to figure out what year this was. There's Margie. She would be about 3, I guess. So it must be about 1954, 55. This is Marion. She's about 2 years old, maybe. No, I guess probably not much more than a year, so it would be around 1950, 55. Oh, there's the blue Persian, Margie's pussy. And she loved it. Died when we were in Expo in 1967. Margie was home alone, and she was heartbroken. She was heartbroken. Here are the girls again drawing there. This is parade down in St. John's, Newfoundland. I don't know really what the occasion was. Looks like nurses Must have been a graduation of the nursing class. Now, this could be a parade in conjunction with the White Fleet, the Portuguese arrival in St. John's, and I think it corresponds with the centennial year at the Basilica. So it looks like it's a big celebration. That's a good many years ago. I don't remember all the details. Oh, here we are. Yes, it's the centennial year at the Basilica. Big celebration. Holy Rosary Parish, Freshwater, Essentia Bay. And I guess this is the Army cadets with their band. And the Girl Guides, Boy Scouts, everybody's in there. Another band. This is the, looks like the Sea Cadets with their band. This is Note to Our Altar, where Mass was held. Lots of people there. Oh, this is a ham fest in St. John's, Newfoundland. Ernest H, B-O-N-A. So cute. She's so cute. And Margie. She's sweet. Margie and Joni. Joni's so cute with her freckles. And Sharon. She's beautiful. And Mary, beautiful, with Marion. Oh, they're so cute. Looks like we're getting the end of folks here. Ah, there we are. This is the parade that we were watching a moment ago. St. John's, Newfoundland. I presume it's the same parade. It's down now by Kitty Vitty Lake. Military band. I don't know what's going on here on the grandstand. It looks like it's I suspect maybe this is during the Queen's visit to Newfoundland. There's the I think this must be out oh, this is at the airport. This is at the airport. There's a big American aircraft there. Yeah, it must be open house at the airport. There's Fred Thompson, his wife and boys. He was one of the technicians on our station. With the tam on, that's Fred. There's Mary with the rabbits and Margie. The rabbits, we had a bunch of rabbits. There's Fred over in his step. Yeah. There's Mark there. There's Fred and Fred's boys, three of them in our family, and I think Patsy Ryan in the back of the truck. Oh, this is on our way to Canso, I believe, after we came over from Newfoundland, and we came upon this wreck on the highway. I think they had a load of, boy, that is a wreck. They had a load of watermelons. I believe there was watermelons scattered all over the place. There they are, yes. I don't know whether this trailer upset or whether down there in the bay, Belle Island. That's getting pretty close to the St. John's Airport. There we are. We landed, and there's the terminal building, the old terminal building. Our radio station was upstairs. This is Teresa's wedding at St. Shots. This is back in about 1955, somewhere along there. 1954, 55, 56. It's typical Newfoundlanders. They're with the shotguns to make a lot of noise, celebrate the wedding. Father Maloney is Aidan, my brother-in-law, Teresa's husband, Mark's sister Teresa, and there's Mark's sister Mary. And that's the end of the film. This must be 1956. Ah, yes. That's baby Ernie, born September the 15th, 1956. There he is again. He would be a few months old there. This is just outside our dwelling at Torbay Airport. The light is poor. See snow on the trees. There's our Bombardier 12-passenger snowmobile, which we use to go to the outlying sites, remote sites. And there's one of our station vehicles. There's the snowmobile again. We used to have some pretty hectic rides in that. This is, again, oh golly, we go from winter to summer. Margie swinging. I'm not too sure where this is. We didn't have any, I don't recall having any swings at our dwelling there in Torbay or at the airport. Yeah, maybe we did. There, that must be just outside of the dwelling. Yeah, we must have had swings there. Oh, this is down at St. Shots where Margie's mother lived. And we used to often go fishing in the river. Looks like Joni's been catching some trout. There's the river that we used to catch salmon. Looks like they have a salmon net there and coming along. Oh, there's one of the girls with a couple of salmon they caught in the river. It used to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. There's Hall in the net. Everybody watching with great expectation. Here's the ferry that ran from Peters River across. Margie in her little hat. I think this is down the brook, just not far from our house. Yeah, we're back in winter time again. A couple of station vehicles just in front of our house there. Lots of snow. Lots of snow. We spent 9 or 10 winters down there. To have some bad snowstorms with winds up to 100 miles an hour. Terrible drifting. It's one of the station vehicles, and I think we're at the end of the film. Newfoundland. Oh, so this is the Queen's visit. Keith O'Hara, cousin of mine, who at that time was living in Newfoundland, Joni and Ernie. More parades. This looks like the Navy Cadet Band. But this is to honor the Queen's visit to to Newfoundland. This was back in I think 1957 or 1958. Probably 1958. See the limousine backing in over there. The Queen must be arriving momentarily. Here she is. The red carpet is out. This is an RCAF aircraft, and the pilot of that aircraft was a young pilot we met years before up in the North Country, a fellow by the name of Bill Carr from Grand Bank, who later made a name for himself in the RCAF. This is part of the celebrations of the Queen's visit, fireworks. Years old there, so that would probably be this would be about 1959. There's Ann Daly, one of her neighbors, swinging there with one of the girls. There's all the troops. There's this is at Topsail Beach, and Pup Holden there and his wife Margie in the middle. Pup was an amateur radio operator. He's been dead for a good many years now, and this is down Topsail Beach, pretty rugged for sure. That looks like Margie here. Yes, it is. There's Margie and Pup Holden and Sharon. Margie and Pup's wife and Joni drinking pop. Stole her bike later on. Yeah, somebody stole her bike. There's Sheila Daly and Marion and Margie. Sheila was our neighbor. Des, her father, was an operator at the airport. There's when the girls got older. This must be a couple of boys came out to see them. Yeah, a couple of boys came out to see them. There's Margie and Sheila Daly and John and Bill, Mark says. Not St. Shots? Where is it? Oh boy, that's quite a massive cliff. Anyway, it's in Newfoundland. I don't remember what. It's turned out to be a rainy day. Here comes Marion and Kathleen and Maureen and Sharon and Margie and Mary, all going into the church. Here's my brother Jack and his son Paul. There's Joni getting out of the car and myself coming up to the church. It hasn't started to rain yet. Oh, this very blackening light here inside the church. You just barely can see some movement on the altar. It's too bad. This film was made by a friend of mine. There's Joni coming out of the church, and Margie and Maureen, and I don't know who that lady was. There's Marion and John's sister, and there's Mary and Joni and Sharon there in the background. And there's Sharon and the girls there. Should really, there's Margie and Mary, and there's Joni. This is just beside the church. There's all the girls there, and Mary and Joan and Margie and Sharon and Margie and Marion. There's Ernie. That's, I think, in front of the club where the reception was held. Here comes Marion and Margie catching up there, and Kathleen and Sharon, Mary. Here comes me and Marg, Keith O'Hara, Margie and Brother Jack. Very dark here and going into the building. I think the rain is, well, it started now. This was back in June 1970. Oh dear. Everybody's trying to protect themselves from the rain here. I think this is leaving the reception hall. Probably on the way back to the house. And that's the end of the film, and that's the end of the series. November the 12th, 1987.